Social media has become a common part of our day-to-day world. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook allow us to connect with friends and loved ones. People can share a text update of their day on Facebook, a picture of their dog on Instagram, and a short video on TikTok. Since social media apps are available to everyone for free, they're widely used by people of all ages, especially youth and teens. While social media promotes connectedness with friends or subscribers who can instantly view any content you publish, it can also be highly addicting and distracting. When most people think of addictions, drugs, alcohol, and even gambling usually come to mind first. Addictions to things like drugs, alcohol, and gambling can result in declining health, an inability to work, unhappy family relationships, and serious financial issues. At their worst, these addictions are fatal. Drug and alcohol addictions are considered substance addictions, whereas something like gambling would be considered a behavioral addiction. In that way, using social media too often is very similar to a gambling addiction. Regularly scrolling through images, posting and receiving positive affirmations, and other stimulations creates the chemical dopamine in the brain. This leads to feelings of pleasure and reward that make it difficult to stop the behavior. In other words, it becomes an addiction. As new social media platforms continue to develop, parents are tasked with overseeing their children's and teens' social media use. In a recent survey by Pew Research, over 50% of the parents surveyed believed that their child spent excessive time on a smartphone or mobile device. Over a third of the parents stated that their child spent excessive time on social media platforms. That means they have to be diligent to help prevent social media addiction, which means they have to be aware of the telltale signs. Using social media too much can have serious repercussions. Teenagers who spend too much time online are less likely to get good grades because they're sacrificing time they could be using to study. They may give up activities such as sports or clubs so they can spend time online. Family relationships can suffer when a teen's focus shifts to posting regular updates on social media instead of having dinner with the family and spending time with siblings. As teenagers become used to checking social media platforms, they can start feeling out of sorts when they don't post. This can result in full-blown addiction, just as it can with gambling or with chronic alcohol or drug use. In some cases, social media addiction can lead to mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. In worst-case scenarios, declining mental health and reduced self-confidence can lead to eating disorders, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and even suicide attempts. While it's common to use social media often throughout the day, problems develop when it interferes with other important parts of a teen's life. There are indications that your child or teen may be developing a social media addiction. It's not uncommon for teenagers to stay up late, but if your teen's social media use starts to interrupt their sleep, then that could be a sign that they're using it too much and potentially developing a dependency on it. If you notice your teenager uses their smartphone to check social media while driving, they may have an addiction problem. Not only is this dangerous to themselves and everyone else on the road, but holding and using a phone while driving is also illegal in some states. If your teenager neglects family life because they spend their time on social media, they may have an addiction problem. While it's normal for teenagers to argue with their friends occasionally, look out for situations where arguing is caused by online cyberbullying or rumor mongering. In some cases, this can lead to a severe type of cyberbullying called cyberstalking. While not all teenagers achieve straight A's every semester, if you see that your teenager's academic performance is declining, the changes may be driven by too much online activity. It's common for teenagers to be involved in extracurricular activities, such as sports, band, or clubs. These activities let them connect with others their age who enjoy the same special interest. If your child starts to show disinterest in their normal extracurricular activities in favor of social media, take a closer look at how much time they're spending online. If you suspect your teenager may have a social media addiction, ask them to stop using it for a few days and see how they react. If they become combative or angry when faced with going offline, they may have become too dependent. The effects of social media addiction can be severe, especially once the symptoms start to reveal themselves. While addiction may take time to develop, it can result in a multitude of problems. Mental health issues, including anxiety and depression, dependency on social media for validation, low self-esteem, eating disorders, sleep deprivation, increased risk of suicide. The important thing to remember is that getting your teen back to a healthy routine may take time. Have patience and be willing to stand firm, but also remain compassionate as you set boundaries to support them in breaking this habit. If you believe that your child or teen has been harmed by a social media addiction, contact the Social Media Victims Law Firm to learn how we can help. The Social Media Victims Law Center works to empower parents to protect their kids and hold social media companies legally accountable for the harm they inflict on vulnerable users. Reach out to our team now for a free, confidential case evaluation.